What's up, everybody? Just put a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me. Thank you guys again for joining the In Volley We Trust podcast today. I am accompanied by a special guest. You guys won't get that reveal until I turn on my camera. Just gonna let everybody roll in here. We got to a little bit of a late start today, and we definitely will be getting cut shortly towards the end. So we're going to make the most out of this podcast today. Thank you, Surat. Thank you, Joe, for giving me a thumbs up. We're going to start in about a few minutes. I want to get going as soon as possible. Send this out to your friends, players, coaches. Send this to everybody that you think would benefit from this podcast. And we will go ahead and move forward. So about 2-3 minutes, guys. 2-3 minutes. Welcome. If you guys are just joining, this is going to be a shorter and a lighter podcast. I'm accompanied by a special guest. Again, if you guys also miss out or have to leave out during this live stream podcast, don't you worry, because I always upload every Friday on my YouTube page. You can click the link in my bio, or I will drop the link down below. But it's going to be a great one. So we're going to start in a minute. Also, I added mods. If you guys see anything wrong with the chat, any spam, can you guys please go ahead and take care of them? I did add a moderator. If you're going to be in this stream for a little while, I will add you as a mod. Just please take care of our chat for me, please, and thank you. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. All right, guys, it is approximately 4:49. We'll probably have to end around 5:20, 5:30, so we'll try to move along as quickly as possible. I'm going to go ahead here and share my screen. There we go. Perfect. We have a special guest here today with us. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera just a bit. There we go. Perfect. So we have a special guest here. I'm going to turn this and move it up actually a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Cool. So welcome again, guys. This is the In Volley We Trust podcast. I'm here today with one of my players from the Union College in New Jersey, also known as Union County College, men's volleyball team. Without further ado, you guys already know who I am. I'm Coach Jared, a.k.a. Coach Spiker. And this is the third episode to the In Volley We Trust podcast. But without further ado, take it away, introduce yourself.
So what's going on? My name is Xavier Hernandez, and I am a first year at UCNJ. I just started the program here at men's volleyball, which is where I got to meet Coach Jared. I came from Elizabeth, and I came from Elizabeth High School and decided to come here to pretty much further my education in architecture, but also get that athletic point of view in the sport that I love, which is volleyball.
It's great. Honestly, we're kind of taking the same journey. This is my first official season here at UCNJ. So this is kind of both of our first seasons, one being a player, me being a coach. And we've gotten off to a pretty good start to the season. We've been definitely getting a lot of things going, getting a lot of things situated. I would think you would agree. A lot of things we definitely have to work on. But hey, that's the beauty of the season. It's the beauty of getting great. It's the beauty of becoming successful.
Yeah.
So without further ado, and again, guys, if you have any comments, questions, concern, feel free to hit the chat. And if you have questions for Xavier, if you have questions for me, we'll be so gladly to answer those questions for you guys. First question of the day from me to you.
Okay.
Why did you decide to want to play volleyball?
So I was originally a soccer player. I actually played soccer all my life, leading up to almost senior year of high school. And it's when my cousin, he said, you would be great at volleyball because I played as a goalie in soccer. And he said, you should try it. So I went, I tried it, and I fell in love with the team chemistry that you need within the sport.
Right.
Because that sport is just teamwork.
Right.
And for me, I feel like it builds character.
Yeah.
It builds skills that you don't get in other sports. Right. And being able to dig a ball to save our point, it almost motivated me to play. And ever since then, it was a goal of mine to always get into volleyball.
Right.
I wish I would have known it sooner.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a little bit late, but I'm here now, and I will never regret the decision of leaving soccer and moving into this sport.
Yeah, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that you feel that way too. I just want to say it's never really too late to pick up something new, as long as you're here.
Yeah.
As long as you're still alive and still breathing, still kicking. It's never too late to start something new. That's for all you guys out there. There's never too late to start something new. However, your time is then limited to what you'll be capable of doing and mastering that element, that sport, that art. So never too late. Better late than never, I like to say.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But you can go ahead and I know you have a bunch of questions.
I do.
So you can go ahead and start.
So it's actually to go based off of your question now.
Okay.
Just going to turn it a little bit. What inspired you to become a coach in the first place?
So I get this question asked quite a lot. Honestly, there was never really something that clicked for me when I decided to get into coaching. Again, for those of you who don't know, I played in high school, played in college, currently play now. And to be completely honest, there was nothing I can say that said I want to go into coaching right after I played in college. The opportunity kind of knocked on the door.
Yeah.
So this happened, 25? 2023 was my first year of coaching. I was asked to coach my alma mater girls high school program.
Yeah.
Their summer league program. I was called on by the varsity coaches. They kind of asked me, just step in, be there, kind of give them, just continue the process of what they were picking up. Oh my God. Pick it up from last time. Hold on, guys. I gotta move a little bit. These are motion sensor lights.
Some technical difficulty here. It's all good.
There we go. There we go. So, sorry about that, guys. We're in the gym. They're motion sensor lights, so when we're sitting still for a little bit, they go out. But like I said, I kind of took on that role and was kind of excited because it was my first coaching opportunity.
Yeah.
But I was really scared, really nervous, didn't really know what I was getting into when it came to politics with coaching, players in comparison to boys and girls, because at the time that was a girls' position.
Yeah.
So everything was really new. Everything was really fresh. I want to say after that season had went on, that's where the I want to be a coach mindset came into play.
Okay.
After, I won my first championship with those summer league girls. Shout out to you girls. Once we did that, I kind of said, yeah, this is going to be for me.
Okay.
This is definitely going to be for me. After we won that championship in 2023 summer, I kind of was like, yeah, I need more of this feeling. And not just the sense of winning championships, because, again, championships don't determine your greatness, nor do they determine how successful you are as a coach. Those are just the cherries on top to becoming a successful coach. Those are just accolades.
Yeah.
And I've accomplished a lot of accolades when I was in college, even when I was in high school, with, being player of the matches, player of the weeks, ranked players, things like that. But I didn't win. I didn't win championships. I went to 2 conference finals in college, lost both of them in the same fashion in 5 sets. Same thing happened in high school. We went to the county final and lost in 3 sets. Wow. So it was really kind of clicked for me once I, got to train those girls, practice with those girls, teach those girls. The process of making them better and seeing them get better, and seeing them enjoy the process of getting better, I was like, yeah, I gotta lock in. It really inspired me. So that's kind of where it took off, and then opportunities started knocking on the door left and right.
Yeah.
And now we're here, third season.
That's crazy. Third
season going on, and then time is really going by so fast. I remember when I just started coaching. Now everybody knows me as Coach Micah or Coach Jared.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because you think about it, and most coaches now, even in any sport, they're so much older.
Right.
You're so young to be a coach and to be in the position that you are now, to the amount of teams that you're coaching.
Right.
Which kind of leads into the next thing is being such a young coach. What are the challenges that you've had to endure or going through, and how are you overcoming it or preparing yourself for it?
So, I mean, you see it every day in our practices. You even see it in the silly banter that I have with some of our guys. Being a young coach comes with a lot of bumps and bruises. It comes with a lot of respect, understanding, and the lack of so, meaning our guys, coming out of high school, we got a lot of guys who are probably 19, 20, 21 years old. And you guys see that I'm not that much older than you guys, whereas you guys don't see me as a dad or an authoritative figure.
Yeah.
Kind of more sense of a brother, big brother kind of vibe. So when it comes to, even when I coach my high school girls, varsity girls, boys, really, in my chapter right now of coaching, it's really hard to establish authority with all my groups, not even just our college guys, because a lot of kids they feed off of young energy.
Yeah.
If you're ever around a baby when you were younger, they start laughing around you, want to play around you. They know that you're a kid yourself. They feel and feed off of young energy. So once they see you and they kind of get a sense of, okay, he's not in his 30s, he's not 40, he's with us, he kind of understands, then the respect and the authoritative actions then begin to diminish, because a lot of guys, a lot of girls too, they kind of forget to turn that switch on and off. So to answer your question, the challenges that I had being a young coach was really just being able to be respected across the board. Okay. Being a young coach really does come, like I said, with its bumps and bruises, with trial and error.
Yeah.
But being a young coach there's a lot of good things in it. For example, I still play. So being able to coach you guys, being able to coach my 16s, being able to coach my freshmen, being able to coach my varsity, it almost gives me a third eye and a different perspective on the things that I do when I play with my guys at the higher level. And it kind of, it's just hey, well, you make these mistakes too, and you're able to fix and fine-tune mistakes that you make in your own game. It helps me become a better player, and it also helps me become a better coach for the next group that I decide to coach or get the opportunity to coach. So, yeah, to really answer your question, it's really just a respect, hierarchy, the lack of understanding, but it also helps my game a lot more. and it gets my feet wet with this coaching journey, and it extends my longevity as a coach.
Yeah.
So that's really it with that.
No, I mean, I understand. I mean, we're the same age.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, I mean, I know it's hard to, at least when your players and yourself is only a year apart,
Right.
2 years apart.
Right.
It's like, how do I look at you as this older figure?
Exactly.
When we're the same age.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think that's brilliant.
Right.
And you kind of touched on my other question, which was, how did your coaching affect you being a player, and how does being a player affect you as a coach? Because as a player with no knowledge of the coach, you see the court a specific way. But
Right.
when you're on the outside, you see a court a different way.
Right.
So how have you been able to either connect the two or even find the differences between the two? How have they helped you?
So honestly, coaching has helped me just become a better player, hands down, with learning patience, with learning how to react to certain things, with just IQ and different ways of getting a point, right? Because a lot of athletes forget that when you're in volleyball, especially a lot of guys, they think that getting a bang bang play is going to like do something indifferent to getting a tip or getting a push.
Yeah.
So with coaching, it's definitely opened up my toolbox for smarter play, for my personal game.
Okay.
It also allows me to embrace the fundamental learning and continuation of the game. So when I coach, I kind of coach not my style of play, but I kind of coach my mistakes. What my players do are things that I have done. So I can't sit there and give them 50% of things that I know I've given 50% on.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and check that early, so that way they understand that 100% is the only percent that you can give if you want to succeed at the highest level.
Yeah.
So with the two, playing and coaching, still doing both at a high level and full time, there's no shift in mindset really. I just feel like and understand that coaching has definitely allowed me to tap more into my mental mindset. So it's been able to basically allowed me to control a lot of things that I can and sometimes can't control.
Yeah.
Just because I'm going to forever be me. But however, when it comes to coaching others, I have to understand that these kids aren't me. They're not going to take certain things that has been said to me the same way that I've taken them, right? So coaching has definitely allowed me to find myself and allowed me to find my style. Playing with having a coaching background now allows me to play more free, allows me to play more happy, allows me to move with a lot more urgency than I once did, but still allow myself to have patience with the urgency that I'm giving myself, if that makes sense.
No, it perfectly does. And I think that it's always good. I mean, even for players that are listening, or even myself, if you're on the bench, you kind of like even still see that perspective of what's happening on the court, and you kind of can understand certain mistakes or certain things that are maybe more useful, like you said, tips, pushes. So it's definitely, I can see the benefit from it. And you talked about coaching style, which is one of the things I want to ask. What is your coaching style, and how does it benefit you, and how does it benefit you, the way you want to coach? Because every coach has their own way of coaching. What is your way of coaching? What is your philosophy?
So I was actually talking to a good friend of mine the other day about trying to find her coaching philosophy. I also talked to one of my good friends who's on the podcast now. Shout out to you, Kiara. Just about what my coaching philosophy is, how I go about coaching, levels and ages and different things. My philosophy, one, I build it off of 3 pillars. First pillar is educate. Second pillar is experience. Third pillar is impact.
Okay.
There's not a specific order that I like to put those three pillars in, but those are just my pillars of coaching. I got to educate you on the game so you understand different terminology, different vocab, different things that I'm saying to you, different play styles, different play calls.
Yeah.
So I got to educate you on the game. If you're going to be a player for me, I've got to educate you. If I don't educate you, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
I have to give you an experience that you're not going to forget. And sometimes with my experience as being a coach, I've given good experience, but I've also given bad, right? I don't want my players to remember the bad. I want them to highlight the good in those bad moments, but understand where they started and where they've come from after being coached from me.
Okay.
Right? So I want to give them an experience that they're never going to forget, and that's always going to last with them, whether they decide to become a player at the next level, become a coach at the next level. It's educate, experience, and then the last thing is impact. Right? And that impact kind of connects the three pillars.
Okay.
If I'm not having an impact on you, then what am I actually doing for you?
Yeah.
If I'm not giving a positive impact on you, what am I actually doing? Impact is one thing. Positive impact is another thing. Right? Because I can have an impact on the player and they say, yeah, this coach traumatized me. It was too hard. It was too tough. Blase, blase. But I can also have a player who I impacted and said, yeah, Coach Jared, he's the best coach I've ever had. He's pushed me hard. He's taught me well. Right? And again, that also comes with bumps and bruises and through learning how to become a coach. So my style, I like to tell my players, I'm definitely tough.
Okay.
I'm a tough coach. I have expectations. I try not to set them too high. I do fall guilty to that.
Yeah.
But I'm tough. I'm hardworking. I want to say I'm diligent and determined on what I want done and how I want things to be executed for my players and where I want my players to go.
Okay.
My goal, especially for you guys, is to get you in and out, get you the grades to go wherever you want to go so you can play and go to school for, if not cheap, free $99.
Yeah.
That is my goal. My other goal is when I'm coaching athletes is you got to love the sport more than when you first came in before I started coaching. If you don't love it more and you don't become obsessed with it, I didn't do my job. Right? The only reason why I coached 4 teams in all 4 seasons is because I'm that obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And coaches and different mentors that I have one on this live stream podcast right now. Shout out to you, Coach Bez, and you actually left something. Actually, I'm going to read that in just a sec. Right? One of my mentors, one of very many mentors that I have, Coach Bez, who's on the live stream.
Yeah.
You have to have those mentors that know how to bring the best out of you. Right. Speaking of Coach Bez, I played for Shout Out Sports when I was in high school, and Coach Bez used to play very full time when he played with Team Freedom at the time. And I got rocked by him in the back row. He swung a right side ball, and I got rocked. But I could have went home and said, "Yeah, Mom, I got a concussion. One of the coaches rocked me in the head. I'm done." Right. But that made me want to be like Bez. I was like, yo, I want to get up like that. I want to fly like that. I want to hit like that.
Yeah.
And Coach Bez had the pleasure to see me play in college and see me play with my semi-pro guys and these open gyms and stuff. Now I've achieved that greatness. I set a standard for myself. I allowed to see the example in a coach who was still a player, right? And I said, I want to be like that. I've had plenty of other coaches who weren't coach players, but they helped fuel my fire with the obsession of volleyball. So really, my coaching style is definitely gritty, and more gritty. You got to go get it. Diligence, hard work, determination, urgency. Because if you're not diligent, if you're not determined in succeeding and achieving your greatness now, somebody's going to take that from you and achieve it before you. And it might be too late. So that's kind of what my coach style is. That's what my philosophy is. But I know Coach Best says something. I coach my players how I used to play. Exactly. He said, I coach my players how I used to play. And that's something that you could probably feed off of because I wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
I told myself the day I started playing volleyball, I have to be the best. I have to.
Yeah.
Like there's no want. There's a must happen behind that, right? And that's why I coach you guys so tough and I push you guys so hard. Because I want you guys to not be me. I want you to be better than me. Be way better than me.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what most coaches want. They probably look at you and say, Coach, you're so tough, but we've also had so many years going through the bumps and bruises, making those mistakes.
Yeah.
I played volleyball for 10 plus years. I was not the player that I am today than I was a couple years back, right? So you've got to, understand the battle between you versus you. And again, like Coach Best said, I coach my players the way I used to play. Ready to go, hard work. Go right now.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what Coach Best said. I practice what I preach. I would never put my kids through it. Exactly, right? Again, when I'm throwing you guys in the ringer, like I always tell you guys, I can get out here and do those 10 side shuffles. I can go out here and go through the pit.
Yeah.
I'm never going to give you guys something that I can't do or that I was never able to do or that I was never able to learn, right? So that's why I do these things. And you got, all these guys with all these excuses. I can't do this. Coach, you do that. I don't care what I do because you can do that 10 times better and 10 times more than I can.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, that's great what Coach Best said. 3 things your players have a full control over. Ace, attitude, communication, energy. I mean, it's all right there. I mean, you have control of your attitude and your communication. You have control of your energy.
Yeah.
Ace, Coach, are you saying like serving? When you talk about ace, things that us coaches have no control over. That's on your boys. Yeah. I still run 16 lines under 40 seconds. Yeah, I mean, I hop in with my guys too. We stretch together when I get out there because I mean I do. There are some days when I don't, but I get in kings with them. I get into blocking with them. I get into hitting lines with them. My middles let me cut the line so they can see what I'm doing and certain shots that I'm making and things like that. Acronym. Oh, okay. I gotta tap in with that. Give me that acronym, but not in the comments. I want to use that though. I want to use it. I think I know the acronym. We'll talk, guys. I think I know, but don't give it out. I want to see if I know. But again, I'm never going to give you guys something that I can't go out there and do because then you guys get into those mindsets of, well, I like to see you do it, Coach. Okay. Throw my stuff on. I'll go ahead and put a couple blocks up. Exactly. I'll lace up. I'll go ahead and put the ball away. I'll go ahead and rip a topspin serve. I'll go ahead and put a block up.
Yeah.
But it's because we've done it so much and took the time to perfect it. Now we want to give you guys what we were able to learn at such a late point in our lives of volleyball. But you guys have the keys now to dominate in college, to go pro, semi-pro, whatever it is. I'm a fool, Bez. I'm a fool. That was the acronym. I'm so goofy. It was attitude, communication, energy, ACE. I'm a fool. But yeah, that's kind of my philosophy. I know I kind of took a little time on that, but
no, I mean, I think that it's good to know your style, because if you don't know your style, then it's like, where are you going with what you're coaching? What you're doing? So the fact that you know what you want to do, what your standards are, I think that's impressive, especially at a young age. Sometimes it takes coaches a while, a couple years to figure out what they want to do. So that's fantastic. And to further that, you are a young coach. You're coaching the teams you are now. What is your end goal in your career? Do you have a set goal of a place that you want to end? So to give some context on that, for example, like me as a soccer coach, I'm going through all the license until I get my pro license. That is my end goal. What is your end goal within your career? Is it to coach a specific team? Is it to do something for someone? What is your end goal?
So honestly, again, like I said, coaching wasn't something that I wanted to do for such a long time. It kind of opened up itself to me, and the opportunities kind of started knocking on the door. As far as end goal goes, it never changed from when I was a player. I want to be the best at this, man.
Yeah.
Like I told even my family, like I told them, like, because they even asked me, what's the end goal? The end goal is to go pro, whether it's me playing or me coaching.
Okay.
I want to coach or play at the highest level there is.
Okay.
And dominate while doing it. I want to be able to coach a Division I team. That's probably the stop.
Okay.
I don't think I want to get to the national stage at any point, whether it's our national team or some local national team, because there are a lot of different national teams. Like I know we have Team USA, but then there's a lot of like other branches, and then you have VLA and then things like that.
Yep.
But I think Division I will be my stop, if God willingly. That's kind of where I want to get to when it comes to coaching. Okay. What exactly, like boys or girls, men or women's? Probably women's.
Okay.
Women's Division I. I have like I said to you earlier, I kind of enjoy the process of women's athletes in general. There we go, lights again, guys. Hold on.
Give me a second. Turn the lights right back on. There we go.
But like I was saying, I want to. My final stop is women's Division I. Where doesn't matter. It would be nice if Dan Metzke gives me a call and go down to Louisville. Dan,
Louisville.
Shout out to Dan. Dan, I hope you watch this and see this. That's my good friend, my good buddy down there in Louisville. But whatever kind of calls, whatever kind of is open, is where I want to end up. So Division I, women's volleyball for sure. But I still want to go through the phases. Like I already coached club for 2 years. This is my second year. Coached high school varsity. I do, however, want to kind of endure one more varsity season before I decide to coach a college program. However, if college opens itself up with an opportunity for me to coach, whether it's JUCO, Division III, Division II, Division I, I think I want to go ahead and experience that. Just because I can do a lot more with my lineups, my players, my culture, my program. And kind of just like work my way up through the levels of like collegiate volleyball, because there's always levels. Right? No matter where you're coaching, there's always a higher level than where you are. So definitely final stop is definitely Division I women's for sure, without a doubt.
Nice. And then my final question for you, kind of tie all of it together. What is the advice you give to future volleyball coaches that are just coming into coaching, or even coaches in general?
So this might be a little lengthy, and then we're going to tie this up and wrap this up. So I had a long conversation with a kid that I met when I was in AC with my girls a week or so ago. There's a lot that goes into it. If you want to become a coach, one, it depends on who you're coaching, boys or girls, high school or college. Then once you tell me where you're coaching, for high school kids in general, doesn't matter if it's boy or girl, there are a lot of things that you have to take into account. Patience is number one when it comes to high school kids, whether it's freshman, JV, varsity. You've got to have patience in the process. If you don't have patience in the process, you'll never be successful as a coach. It's always good to have high expectations for your program, no matter what level, but kind of have your expectations be something reachable, something that's realistic for that team, right? You can't go ahead and give a freshman team the goal of, all right, we need to have 50 aces, 30 blocks, right? When those kids are kind of still learning volleyball. You know what I'm saying? They're learning the mechanics of volleyball, right? So you can't expect a group of freshman girls or boys to go out there and rip a topspin serve, or go out there and understand the vocabulary that you're telling them, like seams left, seams right. those levels are amateur sport levels, and those are stepping stone levels to get into the level that you want to be at as a coach and for your players. So like I said, patience, giving realistic and reachable goals for whatever program and level that you're coaching.
Yeah.
Definitely have a plan as far as what you want this program to look like, what you want your culture to be like, what you want your philosophy to be, what's your purpose behind wanting to be a coach. A lot of different things go into really becoming a coach, but you have to be all in. You cannot be a 50% coach when you're trying to become a coach, whether it's club, high school, college. You have to be all in.
Yeah.
You have to be 110% all in for your players. You also have to understand the word sacrifice when it comes to being a coach, no matter what the level is, because you're always preparing for the next season in the midst of the season. If you're having a struggling season, what are you going to use this season in your practices to then prepare in the off season to then prepare for that next season?
Yep.
Right? What are you learning from these losses? What are you learning from the wins? You always have to be a student to whatever is happening, whether you're winning or you're losing when it comes to starting up your coaching career, right? Organize the things you want to do. I have a whole binder from team after team after team that I've coached, different practice plans, different rosters, because I can always look back and say, oh, I did something with this group that I might want to use with this group because they can benefit from it. Have something organized for every team you coach or for every year you're coaching a team. Because if you don't have organization in what you do, because what worked for this 2018 team probably won't work for this 2020 team. And what worked for this 2021 team probably won't work for this 2024 team.
Yeah.
And what worked for this 2025 team probably won't work for the 2027 team. So you have to organize, see what works. What consistency have you saw with the things that you've given your kids, right? There's a lot that goes into it. And becoming a better coach when you first start out, I always tell new coaches, listen to podcasts, do a lot of homework, plan out what you want your program to look like. Because again, there's one thing to coach volleyball, it's another to run a program. You are trying to run a volleyball program. You're not just trying to teach kids volleyball. If you want to teach kids volleyball, then don't become a coach, a head coach of any program.
Yeah.
You want to become a trainer, training kids how to play volleyball, right? If you want to be a coach, then understand that you have to teach kids volleyball, but you also got to understand how to run a program. And running a program starts with installing those leaders with coaches, assistant coaches, offensive coaches, defensive coaches, then installing those leaders in your players, your floor captain, your offensive captain, your defensive captain, your motivational captain, right? One, because all those tasks and jobs make your job as a head coach a lot easier. You can just now focus on planning, on coaching, right? Once you install leaders, now you have leaders who are self-sufficient in leading this program because you are running a volleyball program. So then with that, you install leaders, you create a culture. You figure out what this group is coming in with. You see what is good and what is not good. You fix that. You instill a culture into your leaders that then makes it infectious to then rub off on the next guy or girl.
Yep.
You got to create a culture, right? Your coaching also has to be consistent. Right, I was with one of my women's players today. I kind of told her, I'm going to coach you girls a lot different than I coach my men. She's like, oh, I hate when coaches say that. Why are you saying that? Because it's a different species, it's a different breed. However, it's still got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Right? The way I coach you guys can't be different than the way I coach my club girls, and then the way I coach my freshman boys, and the way I coach my varsity, and so on and so forth. If I'm going to be someone's coach, I have to be that across the board. Because you never know when those players will cross paths and say, oh, you played for Coach Jared, right? Yeah, he was all right. How was he for you? He was the best. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So you kind of have to be yourself and don't doubt yourself. For my aspiring coaches, if you decide to want to coach a high school program, whether it's a middle school program, high school program, club program, understand that everyone is not going to get with your coaching style. But you cannot stop that from allowing yourself to be your true self. Because again, especially when you're a young coach, you're young, you're still learning. Even when you're a little bit of an older coach, you're still learning. Until the day you are 6 feet under, that's the day you stop learning.
Yeah.
Right? You're never going to stop learning. Don't allow somebody's opinion to dictate how you coach. You coach the way you know how. Some will get it, some will not. And once you start seeing the ones who get it, take a little bit more time with them to install them as leaders so they can spread your message and push your agenda.
Interesting.
Right? Because it makes your life a lot easier.
Of course.
Because you'll find yourself getting a group of girls or a group of guys, and you'll have a few that understand your methods, but then you'll have the majority that don't. But then you'll have to sit down and have these meetings with your team before this practice, waste practice time, and have a meeting. Listen, guys, I don't want you guys to think that I'm just hating you guys, blah, blah, blah. I want this to be, you have to have those therapy sessions with your group.
Yeah.
You want to minimize those because you want to seize every opportunity for practice time. Never want to waste the opportunity with practice time having to go through a therapy session. You see the players that it doesn't work for. You see the players that it does work for.
Okay.
The players that it does work for, talk to those girls, talk to those boys, talk to those women, talk to those men. Install them as your leaders. Push your agenda through those players. And then it starts to work.
Yeah.
It's one thing hearing something from a coach, but it's another to hear something from your teammate, especially a teammate that leads well, that does a little bit of things better than you. You'll listen to them because you guys are on the same road to greatness.
Yep.
A coach has been there, done that. So it's like, oh, this guy is just talking, right? Install those leaders so your job is a lot easier, but also still be able to tap in with your players. You also need to know the difference between player and person. You have both, no matter what. Be their coach as a player, but also be their motivation.
Yeah.
Be their backbone. Be their friend, but have them understand what that friend to coach relationship is. Have them understand what the switch is. But if you, as a new coach, don't install leaders, don't establish your culture, and keep your coaching style consistent with every program that you coach, you are going to find failure. If you don't organize the things you do in each chapter of your coaching career, you are going to find bumps in the road.
Yeah.
If you are not obsessed with this, you are going to have a tough time with being a successful coach. Doesn't matter if you go 50-0. Doesn't matter if you go 0-50. You're developing players. You're creating a program. And you have to start from the ground up. When you buy a plant from the store, it comes in a little packet, you got to put it in dirt. It doesn't become a big, giant beanstalk overnight.
Yeah. Takes over.
You got to plant it, and you'll probably see a pot of dirt.
Yeah.
And then it starts to excel and grow and grow and grow some more and grow some more and grow some more. Your players are plants. You just have to keep watering the plant and watch it grow. If you don't do that, you failed.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're 50-0. Doesn't matter if you're 0-50. Doesn't matter if you're 1-49. If you are not progressing your athletes mentally and physically, you are failing. You are failing. If you're not tapping in with your players on a personal level, how's mom, how's dad, how's your family, how's school, you are going to fail.
Yeah.
You have to be their friend, but understand that you are their coach.
Yeah.
And there has to be a balance. You have to continuously establish and stand on that balance. And you have to be consistent. And you have to be this person 24/7. 24/7.
Yeah.
365 days a year. It can't be today I'm going to be this hard coach, and then tomorrow I'm going to be a softie. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You can't turn that switch on and off like that. How is your player going to be receptive to you when you're, on them, and then tomorrow you just give up because they're not performing the way you want, and then it's like, all right, guys, I'm not going to scream, I'm not going to yell. You guys like being mediocre. I love it. You have to be consistent, and you have to fight through your emotions. Also, with being a new coach, minimize your emotions on your face along with your mouth. Don't verbalize your emotions. Don't show your emotions. You almost got to be emotionless, especially when it comes to that sideline. Players listen to everything you say. And if you want to install a great culture, you also have to model the way you want your players to be.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting here talking a lot of garbage about my players and about this team, my players are going to do the exact same thing.
Same thing.
Right? If I'm not doing work when my players see me in the office or anything like that, and I'm talking this when I'm goofing off and I'm joking around, my players are going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You are a role model to your players. And if you are not modeling a program that you want to be a part of as a player, then why are you even coaching that program? You got to coach the program that you are coaching in the way that you want to play for that program. I'm going to sit to myself and say, if I was younger and my coach was me, would I be receptive to the way that program is being run? You got to, like Coach Best said earlier, you got to almost coach the way you play.
Yeah.
If you know you want more out of your coach and you want more out of that program, then how does that happen? It starts with the coach. If you want to coach your soccer kids to be Team USA and Olympians, how do you do that? You have to train them like Olympians. You have to treat them like Olympians. But it all starts with you,
Yeah.
right? How are you going to model the program that you represent? Once you figure that out, everything that I just said then falls into place.
Exactly.
Then you become more obsessive. Okay, my goal, and you also want to plan from January all the way to December. If you don't do that and say, oh, well, I just got a new job as a varsity head coach and we don't start till August, and you start in August, you're behind.
Yeah.
You're super behind. You're honestly preparing for next season when you start in August. If you're preparing for next season, there's no shot that you're going to prepare for a season in August that starts in August.
Yeah.
It has to start in January. Weight room, January, February. Spring training, March, April. Take a month break in May. June, July, summer league. August, you start. Same thing with men's. We start in January. We end in April. Cool. We have off May. June, July, we weight train.
Yep.
August, September, we get training in there. We start our fall ball season. We do NJSU tournaments, things like that, right? November, we'll have off again. December, we're preparing for January. You can't stop. It doesn't start in the season.
Yeah.
It doesn't start in regular season. You will know how successful your program will be given on how your off season goes. And a lot of coaches forget about that. So for my aspiring coaches or my coaches who are currently coaches and need a little bit more guidance on that, it starts in your off season. Your off season will tell you a lot about how your regular season is going to go. And if you don't start doing anything in your off season, let's say you coach a women's program and your season starts in August and you haven't done anything up until April, let's believe that your season is not going to get going until October. And by then, you're getting ready for playoffs, and you might not make the postseason, or you might not do well in the postseason.
Yeah.
So however long you push off your off seasons, it's going to push back what you do for your regular season, and you might as well pack your bags and get ready for the following season.
Yeah.
So with that, I say, be all in. Study the art of coaching. Organize and plan.
Okay.
And you gotta be obsessed with what you do.
Yeah.
You got to. Like, if you're not obsessed with it, then it's just something you're doing for the dollar. And me personally, you know me, I could care less about $1.
Yep.
I'd rather train up a girl to go Division I and succeed and be an all-region, all-American player for free.
Yeah.
I don't care about $1. I don't care about $1. If I could train a girl up to go Division I, be an All-American, to then get opportunities to play international and play pro, that's my pay.
You succeeded.
That's my pay.
Yeah.
I don't care about $1. I care about progression. I don't care about paper money. I care about progression because there's also money in progression. And it's just a mindset thing that I kind of shift when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So again, aspiring coaches to be, coaches that want to be. It was a lot, but again, like I said, obsession, organization, planning, modeling, installing those leaders, starting in the off season, studying.
Yeah.
All those things are going to make you such a great coach, and never not be a student of the game. A lot of coaches, they start filming themselves once they get to Division I level. They win national championships, they win regional championships, they win conference championships. And a lot of coaches do forget that they can still be coached.
Yeah.
With being a successful coach, you got to understand that you can still be coached. Coaches need coaching. How do you think they became coaches?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So again, always be a student to the game. Never forget where you started. Be obsessed with what you do. Love it. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Because I do every single day.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to being even a player too. 'Cause
Right.
It's like you're coaching a specific way. That energy reciprocates onto your
Right.
players, and then those leaders are going to give that to the remainder. So the amount of energy and effort you put into it, it goes and it shows into
Right.
the players that you are hoping to bring up. So,
Literally. And when you install those leaders, like you said, now you have program development. You install leaders who are at the JUCO level sophomores, at the 4-year level seniors.
yeah,
They push your agenda to the juniors, to the sophomores, to the freshmen, JUCO, to the freshmen, to the first years. Then your program begins to develop. Because when those seniors, when those sophomores go off and they play in their 4-year, or they go semi-pro, they go professional, now those underclassmen know the message. They know the agenda. And now your program is developing itself through your athletes because they know your culture. They know your motive. They know your agenda. And it makes a lot of things, it makes the coaching aspect of things a lot easier.
it does.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you won't have a lot of players relying on you to give them instruction. You'll have those player leaders or those other coaches that you trust to lead your program and lead it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Also, surround yourself with good people that you trust in order to bring on your coaching staff as well. If you decide to be a head coach, but coaches to be and coaches that are aspiring, start off being an assistant coach. I have a lot of friends who just don't want to be a head coach. I have a lot of friends who don't want to be an assistant coach. Both are fine because there's beauty in both arts of coaching, whether it's assisting, whether it's head, right? But either way, you're still running the program, no matter if you're an assistant or a head.
Yeah.
As the assistant, you are pushing the agenda that the head coach has. As a head coach, you are entrusting that your assistants to the assistant, your player leaders are pushing your agenda through your players.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to just getting inspired.
Literally.
And, I mean, even as a player, for me, like, going around Division I liberos, going to Moises, was a Division II libero, NJIT libero, surrounding around people who want that excellence will put that onto you to want excellence. It's like it motivates you. It's like, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. And I know you went and saw the Louisville coach. You've seen so many professional coaches, semi-pro coaches, Division I coaches, and it's like it puts that, like, that's where I'm going to be. And I think that that's something that from the beginning to the end, even after you've succeeded, it's something to always follow through.
It's something to always follow, dude. That's why I always reach out to those resources.
Yeah.
If I didn't reach out to Dan down in Louisville, probably would have never connected with him. Probably would have never got the gems that he gave me, right? If I didn't put myself out there, network, ask questions, continue to be a student of the game, I wouldn't know all these high-level coaches, all these high-level players. And it's not just because I played at St. Elizabeth. It's because I used what I wanted to fine-tune at St. Elizabeth and what I learned from playing at St. Elizabeth at the NCAA level, playing against good comp, and I said, nah, there's something more that I can get to. Now I play semi-professional. Got to meet Coach Johnny. Now I know him. Rather than just meeting him. Right? He gave me a lot of gems. He was able to share a message with my freshman boys last season. Right? And this is somebody who I was watching when I was in high school.
Yeah, on
you know what I'm
YouTube,
saying?
looking like, oh my goodness.
Just looking up like how to serve, how to hit, and now I get to meet him, talk to him, and get enlightened by the way he coaches. And it all starts with just staying a student, reaching out. I mean, social media, it's definitely something that is a good and bad thing to have nowadays, especially just the abuse of social media that a lot of us use. But with social media, it opens doors for communication with those higher level players, and those higher level coaches. And like you said, like I saw Louisville, I saw their program, I saw how well it was coached. I reached out, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Right? Then I try to show my face at different Division I matches because that's where I want to be. You have to surround yourself in the environment that you want to be in. Yeah. If you don't do that, tough luck.
It goes back to being obsessed.
Gotta be obsessed.
With it.
Gotta be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
If you're not obsessed with it, you don't love it enough. You don't love it enough.
Yeah. So I mean, those were all my questions. I think honestly, you hit it perfectly.
I'm glad. Sorry for the late question, but as a former student athlete, how did you balance school and studying, getting better at your game? Also, what helped you with the management during the season? Okay. That's a great question, actually. So when I was at St. Elizabeth, the only beauty that really helped me with the managing of being an athlete to a student is the obvious thing of living in a dorm. Because technically that I like to call it my little apartment. So it's like my little house, because it's just me. So I have those times to deep breathe, unwind. I have to really like do a lot of things for this one or that one in the house. It's just me, so I'm on my own schedule, my own time.
Yeah.
However, for me though, in college, I kind of used the playing of volleyball to keep my grades up, if that makes sense. I said to myself, one, I want to play. Like, everybody wants to play.
You can't play if your grades are bad.
Exactly, and especially when I was a starter, there was more of a expectation that was held for me because I was a starter, right? And I wasn't just given a starter spot. I had to earn it. I had to beat guys out for it, but I also had to do the work in the classroom, right? I had to keep my GPA at a certain level to stay eligible to play, right? I had to have a certain GPA to get into school.
Yeah.
Me, honestly, and I'll be open to tell you guys, I wasn't a fan of going to college. I told my parents it's volleyball or nothing. It was probably going to work, probably play where I can get the most reps. But if I didn't play in school, I most likely wasn't going to college.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. So I said to myself and I said to my parents, listen, Mom, Dad, I'm going to play in college. I'm going to try to save as much money in your pockets as possible. I'm going to get scholarship. I'm going to play in college because that's the only thing that's going to motivate me to keep my grades up. For those of you who do know my background, I am musically inclined. I play the saxophone, the piano, and my family is heavily musically inclined. Could have went to school for music.
Yeah.
Easy. But I wasn't as obsessed with music than I am with volleyball. Music, I feel like to me comes easy. So I get lazy and don't practice.
Yeah.
But you always gotta practice, no matter what you do. So that's something I can admit that I failed at when it came to music.
Yeah.
But I said to myself, it's volleyball or nothing, and I have to play volleyball in college. Yep. It's all a mindset thing. It's you versus you at the end of the day, and the management with it. I talked to all my professors. I made sure I was best friends with all my professors. I made sure I locked in with my student advisor. I made sure that I had teammates in certain classes. I made sure that I made friends in those classes. Why am I saying these things? Because when I was cool with my professors, they allowed me to do work that I may have missed because I was sick, because I had things to do at home. Maybe I had a game. My professors liked me that much to where they wanted to help me. And I tapped in with their lives. A lot of them had kids. A lot of them did other things besides teaching at St. Elizabeth, right? So I was verbally active in class, verbally active after class. made sure I emailed them and checked in with them just as much as I wanted them to do for me. What I wanted them to do for me, I did for them. So that when I needed them in the long run, when it came to, final semester, winding down, might not do too good in the class, they will help me. They might like chess for all I care, but you got... If you don't like chess, you better like it today, because you're gonna need that professor come finals where you might have not done well, you might need a retake, or you might want to do some extra credit. So I tell my student athletes, get in contact and get close with your professors. So that way, in the long run, they want to help you, because they will help you. And professors are not just saying they don't want, guys, I would hate to see you fail. I really don't want you to fail. Professors are not lying when they say that. Because when you fail their class, now that's giving them more work. Now they got to talk to advisors. Now they got to talk to presidents. Now they got to talk to dean of students. Professors want to make your life as easy as it can be for them teaching you.
Yep.
And once you make their life easy, they're going to make your life so much easier.
Yeah.
Stay in contact with your professors. Make sure you're talking to them. You got to kind of fluff it a little bit so that way they can help you in the long run, right? There are a lot of professors that I started to like their class because I tapped in with them a little bit. So you got to kind of tap in with your professors as much as possible. And the balance, like I was telling you earlier, I had practice every other day if we didn't have matches, 7 a.m., 7 to 9. Right after, we would get undressed, get dressed, break down the net. We would go to breakfast as a team at St. Elizabeth. We would eat, talk about practice, talk about games, talk about school. Sometimes guys would, do assignments at the breakfast table with us, right? I would try to do some things before class, right? We had teammates in the same class, and that's one thing I can say and appreciate all my brothers at St. Elizabeth for. There was never a guy at that breakfast table that said, "Oh, I'm struggling with this class. Do you take this class?" And the guy said, "No, I'm not helping you."
Yeah.
I can say that my brothers from St. Elizabeth, they all were willing enough to help each other with classes because we did not and could not afford to see our teammates fail and not be able to play and be eligible for the season.
Of course.
So your teammates, your brothers will really help you a lot, but it's whether or not you ask for that help and it's whether or not they give you the help.
Yeah.
And both of those things shouldn't really be an ask. It shouldn't be a second thought.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Exactly, right? So again, though we were helping each other with classes. After breakfast, I would go to my dorm, take a shower. Didn't have class till 12. We got out at 9. Went back to my dorm at 10. I got a 2-hour layover. I could just sleep, right? Or I could, do this assignment, something I should have done the night before. Got 2 hours. Knock it out, bang it out. You always got to use every minute of your day to achieve success in your academics and your athletics. Just earlier, I had a couple guys stay after for reps because they had nothing to do. But usually, a lot of guys, go home, take a nap. Go home and do this. Go home and do that. But you have to seize the day. You have to be productive in your day. And you have to find a balance. What helped me, and I started doing it recently, but I started doing it on the way out of St. Elizabeth, I created a calendar.
Okay.
Marked every single thing that I knew I had on every single day. Made a checklist and checked it off. I also made sure my friends were keeping me accountable the same way they wanted me to keep them accountable with the things that they had. Because if I had friends, let alone teammates who had the same classes, "Yo, did you do Professor Shack's homework the other night?" "Oh, I got to do it." "No, it's okay. Come to my dorm. We're doing this together."
Exactly.
Simple.
Yeah.
You need to have a accountability system around you, and it really should be your teammates. And it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
It makes things a lot easier. Get friends who are in your classes. Might be those smart kids.
Yeah.
A lot of people clown those smart kids, but I have a ton of friends, like legit friends, who might have been the nerdy kid, but you don't know their story.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of people that be like, "Oh, like, you know that kid?" "Yeah, I know that kid. That kid helped me pass this class." And what? I don't care what he looks like. I don't care how he dresses.
I passed.
He helped me pass.
Yeah.
It's my dog.
Yeah.
So get friends who will want to see you succeed on the volleyball court, because then they'll help you in school.
Exactly.
And what was the second part? What helped you with the management? Again, like I said, If there was no school, there was no volleyball. Simple.
Yeah.
No school, no volleyball, no success, no nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to prioritizing what you want to do. Obviously, you guys know I'm a student athlete. You know how serious I take my grades. If I'm off of 100 by 1 point, I'm going crazy. But the point is on your free time, it's how you use your free time.
Right.
Are you going to go be with this person, go be with that person, or are you going to do the paper that you know is due in a couple days? Start it off now.
Right.
I got the time. Or in between classes, let me go get some reps in. So to me personally, I think even coming out of soccer, that's whenever I had that break, it was, okay, what are the 2 priorities I have? My school, my sports. Do I have time? Yes. Can I also do something else? Yeah, but my priorities are this. Let me take that time.
Right.
And with that, it shows. And with that, that's how you succeed.
Literally.
It's where, if you're mentally strong enough to know, I got to give up video games for 2 hours. Shit, maybe I can't go to midnight and let me go get some food or whatever. I need to sleep for practice tomorrow morning. You know, it comes down to, am I mentally strong to sacrifice so I can gain my success?
Right. I feel like a lot of student athletes, you guys suffer from FOMO. FOMO.
Yep.
Fear of missing out. Did I suffer from that? Partially. I say partially because there were a lot of days when I was at St. Elizabeth where I chose the wrong decisions for the wrong day that was coming up next. But I can admit that I partially had that FOMO syndrome, fear of missing out. Oh, I gotta go to this party. Oh, I gotta hang out with this girl. Whatever it is, like, you guys have to realize how much time you really do have after college. Because after college, it's now until God calls you forward.
Yeah.
And you got a long time, God willingly, from that point until that point. So you guys have to understand that, one, a lot of you college athletes, high school athletes, you're very young. So you have all this time to go party, go clubbing, go drinking, this like that. Don't rush that process. Because I'm a testament of rushing that process in high school. You can ask my parents. I had a whole calendar. I'm like, oh, it's almost June, almost graduation. I couldn't wait. And I tell my players all the time, don't rush. Please don't. Like, please, please don't. Because I do miss it. I miss, having that sense of, oh, he's just a kid. I miss not having responsibilities. I miss just being able to go to school and play volleyball.
Yeah.
And not having to work and not worry about bills and not worry about my future just yet. Right? I miss it. Now, every single move I make on a day-to-day affects my future. Right? I have to pay bills now. I have a lot more responsibility. I have my own car, right? And those are not things to flex. Those are responsibilities that I know I have to get done in order to be successful. Managing your time when it comes to your sports in college, it's either school, volleyball, or nothing. School, basketball, or nothing. School, football, or nothing. School, soccer, or nothing. You have to have your priorities set in straight. When I was a freshman trying to adjust to, the college atmosphere when I went to St. Elizabeth, there were upperclassmen who showed me the way. Yeah, we get reps late night. We try to give guys that time to do classes, get their work done, and then we get reps late at night to then prepare for practice in the AM, to then have reps late at night that night, to then prepare for the next day AM. And it does not stop. But you also have to incorporate school into that. When you are out of the gym, that is all of your academic time.
Yep.
You don't do homework in the gym. You do homework in a classroom, in a room setting, on and in front of a desk. The gym is for athletics. It's for volleyball. It's for basketball. The field is for football. It's for soccer.
Yeah.
That is your athletic element. Nothing else should be thought about when you step into the gym, when you walk onto the field. It's you and that sport. When you walk into the classroom, it's you and that professor, you and that work. You have to know what you need to manage and the priority that needs to be taken in those things that you need to manage.
Yep.
And you have to do it a show. You can't come into practice thinking about the exam that you have, because now your focus is not there. Because not only are you going to stress yourself about an exam you have in practice and make your playing and practice bad, you're going to overstimulate yourself to that when you take that exam, you're also going to shit the bed on that exam too.
Yep. Now you're thinking, I just did shit in practice too. Like,
right.
Everything's going.
You know, so prioritize, find a balance, organize. Same thing I gave you guys being a coach, works as being a player, works as to being a student. Organize yourself. Organize.
Yeah.
This is my month. February is the new month. March is rolling around. I know I have class this day, that day. I know my professor said I had this 6-page paper due on the 23rd of this month. I know that our finals is the 15th of the next month. I know that this professor wants us to do a paper for every other class because it's once a week. Know what your assignment is on the court.
Yep.
Also know what your assignment is in the classroom. That's our last time that the lights are going to go off, guys. It's okay. We're going to wrap up soon. But know what your assignment is. Know what your task is. Know what your job is. And once you know what your jobs are, you can execute.
Yeah.
I hope that helped you out. Other than that, do you have anything to add or any questions?
I honestly think you hit all the points. I mean, a lot of it I didn't know.
Right.
And I mean, I think that it's fantastic to see, even, you being my coach, to see like the journey you've taken, even the failures that you've taken and how you've overcome them, to see what you still go through and the way your thought process is. I think that's also one of the things that I think everyone should take is know who your coach is.
Right.
And they're just not a person there. They're there to mentor you in the sport, but they're also there as your friend.
Right.
So I think that was something great. Do you have any questions?
For you, honestly, I do. If you don't mind, what do you do for muscle and mental? Perfect. Hold that thought. I do have a question for you though, Xavier, and it will tie into this. Okay. My first question is, me being your coach, knowing our team's personnel,
okay,
knowing my coaching style, my philosophy, what do you think our team needs more of from me? Or what do you think they need less of from me?
Okay. So that's actually a really good question. And I think there's two parts to it. Mm-hmm. So me, I came from a background of coaching. Mm-hmm. And I also came from a different time period than our players. Right. I'm 6 years different.
Yeah, exactly.
So the coaching style of yours of being tough, I was already brought into that, as especially that is my coaching style. Because I'm a very tough coach. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was easy to adjust to it.
Okay.
And now I do see, and sometimes I fall short on this, is not everyone accepts that coaching style, only because some people aren't as thick-skinned, whether it's through personal reasons or even past experiences with their own older coaches. And I think that maybe sometimes to alter certain coaching styles or words said to specific players, just so it gets to them
right.
A little bit better. Because same way when we're in school, not everyone learns the same way.
Right.
I can't learn through ear.
Right.
I have to learn by physically touching
mm-hmm.
and seeing it personally. I can't do auditory learning. Whereas on the court, someone may take a couple more steps to learn how to pass a ball.
Right.
Where it may take me a fewer steps, someone else a couple more.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of the open-mindedness of it. Now you play at the semi-pro level, mm-hmm. and I do believe that even me, that I've played with Division I players in soccer,
right.
I do believe that sometimes we get a little carried away of, I'm at this level, let me push this level.
Yeah.
And sometimes, some players are just not ready for that
right.
level.
Right.
So things that you can, knowing the culture and knowing the coaching style is maybe more open-minded to how players react to specific patterns of coaching and things that are said or the way things are done.
Okay.
I think that everyone's mind is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And not to quote unquote discriminate on certain learning styles to others.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I know, like, I can be a bit much in different elements of my coaching.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of players can, like you said, and a lot of players can't. So definitely mixing the two, tough and love, creates that tough love.
Yes.
And it just has to be, relayed the same way for different people. Like, I have to speak their language.
Yes.
Almost.
I mean that, and I think, but it also comes down to when you do have the players that understand your coaching style, then that makes a leadership on the court or on the field where then they can spread to the other players like, listen, this is just how coach is. He loves and cares for you. He wants to see you on the next level, and don't take it too hard. But unfortunately, some of the athletes that we have, whether it's in this level or even younger, and this generation coming up, it's a little bit too much. It's unfortunate that's the way the world is, but I think that we need to be more open-minded and accepting to that.
I agree.
So that's how I feel.
Okay. I agree. Definitely, the athletes coming out of high school the next couple of years are definitely different athletes that you and I are used to.
Yes.
Just because these kids, they were in high school while COVID went on. They were out of school for a year or so, 2 years, give or take, to school.
Yes.
Trying to adjust to that person-to-person interaction, really understanding the sense of reality. I feel like that's definitely an adjustment for me.
Yeah.
Knowing how my team was in high school and college.
Yeah.
So definitely it is an adjustment period. Nothing that I can't fix,
Of course.
But I just wanted to kind of pick your brain there, see what you, what you were thinking, and I, 110% agree.
Yeah. I think Javon
had a question. Sarah has a new one. Do you think it's a part of your job as a coach to toughen up the ones who are a little bit soft and soften up players who are a little bit rough around the edges? So that's a pretty freaking great question. I'm going to go to Javon's again, and it said, your question was, Javon, if you don't mind, what do you do for muscle and mental recovery while in season? So season time is a very rigorous time on your body.
Yeah.
Also on your mental. That's why right now, Javon, if you're home, you need to start. I mean, it sounds very crazy. Right now, you're home. What are you doing at home right now to fix your mental? You got to think about it like that. A lot of you guys are watching at home. What are you doing, especially for my boys or college athletes who are here, my coaches who are in season? A lot of you guys are home. A lot of you guys might be in your office. A lot of you guys might be just sitting down somewhere watching this. What are you doing right now to make yourself mentally stronger? Are you listening to a podcast right now? Yes, you are. That's the first step. Are you going to get off this podcast and watch mindset videos? That's another part. Are you going to talk to your coaches about tapping in with your mindset? Are you going to feed yourself the mindset and getting yourself in the mindset that it's you versus you, right? Because this ties into Sarat's question. A coach can give you but so much, but you as the athlete have to do it for yourself. I can tell you, I believe in you, Javon. You can put this ball away, Javon. You are mentally strong, Javon. You can do it, Javon. And those are all great positive affirmations that you may need. But you're still not going to gain the confidence unless you tell yourself that I'm ready.
Yeah.
You're not. So to answer your question, Sarat, and then we'll get back to muscle recovery, you can enable your athletes to go. But it's a hard time enabling that when your athletes aren't, and when they don't have that switch turned on, if that makes sense. If you know your athlete is suffering mentally with just getting over themselves and just going out and play volleyball, it's going to be a tough time trying to teach them toughening up or teaching them a stronger mindset. It starts with the athlete, as tough as that may sound for most of you, right? Because, again, I tell the story to all my guys, all my girls. My high school coach legit berated me and my starting lineup during a tryout. I was 17 years old. A lot of my guys who were on my college team just turned 18, if not still 17, turned 18. I could have sat there and took what my coach said to me and my other teammates, grabbed my stuff, left the gym, and never played for that coach ever again. However, like you said, it was a different time. Totally different era.
Yeah.
I just locked in with myself. Because again, I told myself I need to be the best. No one's stopping me from being the best. Nobody. I don't care what coach says this about me. What player says this about me. Oh my God. I don't care. Right? I don't care. Like, if you tell yourself, I want, I need, I must.
Yeah.
Then you are never going to be mentally broken. Also, you guys need to understand the adjustment from high school to college, no matter what the level is going to be tough. It's a faster game. It's a smarter game. You guys have to embrace the failure. Your meter, your bar for failure has to be large. Michael Jordan, for example, this kid didn't make his JV team. He didn't make his JV team, but this guy is the greatest basketball to ever live to walk the planet Earth. But he got cut from his high school team, and this man is the GOAT. He could have said, yeah, I'm not playing basketball no more. I suck. Nah, I'm going to the backyard until the street lights come on. Locked in, I'm putting up shots, and I'm going to make this team next year. I don't care who has anything to say about it. So with building your mental toughness, you got to keep telling yourself it's you versus you. A coach cannot build that up. A coach can enable that. A coach can piggyback off of. A coach can fine-tune. A coach can polish. But a coach can't take a day and say, all right, guys, we're going to practice how to be tough. That's just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's you versus you in everything you do. Bars. It's you versus you in everything you do. So if you tell yourself you got to go be the best rather than saying I want to be the best, I know you want to be the best. Is it a must? Is it a need? Is it a want? Right? I told myself when I started playing volleyball, I have to be the best. After that, the sky was the limit. I have to be.
Yeah.
I have one life to live. I have to be the best. Like, I don't want to. Of course I want to. Everybody wants to be the best.
Yeah.
I have to. Like, I have to. But with that, however, don't misconstrue that the want and must of being great and saying, oh, well, I swung a ball out. My greatness is done. I'm going to go to the negativity depths of negativity. I suck. I'm gonna beat myself up about this one error that I made. I'm going to go feel sorry for myself and cry in the corner because I had a terrible practice. When you got to take it day by day, step by step, moment by moment. You have to fail a little bit in order to grow. So you got to build your mental toughness with telling yourself it's you versus you. I have to go get it. I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. And the physical aspect in basketball is coming in here, guys. So I will pick up this on it real. The physical aspect is making sure that rest is important to you. If rest is not important, icing, stretching, you got to make sure your body management is good with your mental management. And the world is really yours. I want to see if we have any more questions. I want to save them. Vin, if you can you write your question down? Can't force a horse to drink? No. Or that to, yeah. Listen, guys, if I did not answer your questions, if you do have questions for me, write them down, message me. I'm going to make a reel. Basketball is getting in the gym now at our school. Xavier, I appreciate you, my dog.
Of course, always.
Again, thank you guys for joining the podcast. This is the End Volley We Trust podcast, Episode 3. Tune into YouTube on Friday on my personal YouTube page. I'm going to drop the link in my bio. I'm also going to post it on my story. Xavier's going to do the same. Guys, go also give Xavier a follow at Xavier Hernandez on Instagram. You can type it just as is. I know it has a dot in the middle of it or underscore. You type in Xavier Hernandez, it should pop up just as fine. But again, I'm going to mass medialize your Instagram page so that way you guys can tap in with this guy. He's a great dude. But again, thank you guys for joining. Again, next week, same time, different place. Xavier, I thank you again.
Yeah. I appreciate you bringing me.
We definitely got to do this again.
Of course.
Thank you guys. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a message in my inbox. Without further ado, this is Coach Jared.
This is Xavier.
And this is the ending of the 3rd episode of In Volley We Trust. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.